How to be an effective leader. Over the next 10 minutes or so, I'll be explaining the pros and cons behind leadership. It's your prerogative not to make it till the end, either because you dislike me personally or you have a problem with my shirt. That's your challenge. I won't end being the terrible leader. You would. So that's the first thing. So, number one point to become an effective leader, please understand this concept fundamentally. This is something you can apply to your life and you would see the difference immediately. This is something, as you'll be learning over the course of the video, that is not necessarily limited to just leadership in your entrepreneurial space or your corporate world. This also applies to your personal life as well. So the first thing is you must be willing to upset people. This is the problem with entrepreneurs and those aspiring leadership position. They don't know how to upset people. They love this idea or they enjoy this fantasy. Life should be balanced and I don't want to upset him. I don't want to make him feel bad. What about her feelings? If I say it like this, how would she feel? Down to firing people. There are leaders who would beat around the bush, tell you stories, repeat anecdotes, make it scripted, than to say you are fired for XYZ reasons. I told you not to do this. You kept doing it. I warned you. I sent you a query. You persisted in that default. Therefore, you are fired. As simple as that. In fact, if I ask you, how do you want to be fired or how do you want to receive bad news? Person A beats around the bush after wasting an hour of your time, finally hits the nail on the head. Person B goes straight to the point. Exactly. So if you would want person B to deliver the news, why in the hell do you believe others desire person A? It's asinine. It doesn't make enough sense. And this is the problem, especially women operate in this mental model. They say they want things they don't want. For instance, hit me, hit me, hit me, hit me. You hit her, you go, fucking dumb. Let me not digress. That's not the discourse of tonight. But you get the point. People say they want one thing, whereas the other is truly their desire. So mostly, most individuals often act in contradiction to their words. This is why majority find it difficult to achieve their goals because their actions is misaligned with their goals. I want to be a speaker, I want to be a good communicator. Alright, gets up by 10 a.m., goes back to Netflix. No template for transformation, no books is reading, no speech he revises. There's nothing. He doesn't watch himself back. He doesn't listen to speakers. He doesn't do anything that connotes towards an improvement or an improved speech. And you wonder why he stutters. You wonder why his communication 80% lays with filler words. The point I'm trying to establish is as a leader, you must sustain the ability to know when to say, look, this idea is shit. Let me phrase it. I do not believe in this your idea, and here's why. And the list follows. But there are times where you have to blatantly let the employee know that this idea is shit. Let me give you an example. I'm trying to put it in a way that doesn't breach the agreement. So, because of the sensitivity of the analogy, I would make it as vague as possible, but the morale won't be alienated. This lady, as one of our general meetings, made a suggestion. Why don't we assess individuals or why don't we assess individuals based on individual contribution as opposed to a general assessment, a team assessment? This is a terrible idea for a tech company, for a software company. In fact, most companies now operate with the criteria of team assessment. Yes, a step further would be to grade on individual competence, look at individual contributions. But this idea that you would isolate a project and cut it into tiny bits is highly improbable. And once I made it clear to her, the idea is shit, prove me wrong. We as humans are egoistical, and she has one choice: to spend her free time trying to prove me wrong or come to the natural conclusions. Those are the two aim an employee would arrive at. Once you make it clear, look, this idea is shit. Spend your free time trying to prove me wrong, or in the process, come to the natural conclusion. That is either of the two answers she would arrive at. Like I said at the initial recording, this doesn't apply to your corporate world or your corporate life alone. This spills into your personal life as well. Because how you do the small thing is how you do the big things. The Bible clearly states that he who is faithful in little is faithful in large. You see this in your personal life. For instance, you're in a bus, someone takes your seat. You're too timid to let the person know. Or, for instance, that's a very direct situation. You took your seat, you make it clear to him that you were in this place. Let me give a very unique situation. For instance, someone says something very offensive, or you are in a group. Aha, you are in a group. One of the candidates constantly underperforms. One of the candidates is dragging you guys down. One of the candidates is a personification of an anchor, and you refuse to call it out. Oh, I don't want her to feel bad. You keep justifying it in your head. You keep bottling up resentment and animosity towards that individual. You can't confront him. Let me give you the diagnosis. If it's you, I just explained. The problem is not timidity as you know it. The problem is you're not willing to risk upsetting people. Your identity is most likely placed on externality. That's why you're obsessed with your appearance. That's why you're obsessed with the kind of actions you take. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong in getting in an Uber or taxi as opposed to catching the bus in order to preserve your status or whatever it is, or whatever identity you're trying to purport. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with using a more expensive device than otherwise. There's nothing wrong with that. But the point I'm trying to highlight is majority of you get caught in the external trap. Yes, so you bring a lady to your apartment, there's no air conditioner, you're explaining the reason, you keep over explaining yourself. Anytime you find yourself trying to over explain or trying to prove a point, it's most likely that the contrary is usually the case. The moment you identify someone overtly displaying a trait, the contrary is usually the case. For instance, there's this guy who's always confident or always correcting people. It's most likely he's a timid person. Please understand this. Anybody who overtly displays a trait, the opposite is usually the case. When you're confident, imagine this, you have $1 million in your checking account, and for some reasons, the air condition was not delivered on time. Lady comes to your apartment. Oh, my friend, the air condition, I have some problems. It's not yet delivered, but the next time you come, it should be here. Done. End of story. But you notice these individuals, they keep repeating, they keep making emphasis on that default. It's kind of hot in here. Don't you feel hot? Don't worry, air condition is coming. Fucking stupid. There's this lecturer back then in college. In order to appreciate him as students, we decided to do something special. The plan was immediately after teaching, he would bring a lot of things, different presents, totally at your discretion, and fill up the front seats while writing on the board, the best lecturer. After we did this act of kindness, you could see the excitement on his face, and he was perplexed, filled with joy. Instantly, he took the stage. Well, this bottle of water and every single thing you guys dropped here, I appreciate you. I'm not looking at the cost. It's the heart that matters. Because all of this, I can afford them. All of this is nothing to me. You got me a pack of bottled water, and either I'll put it in my office or take it at home. This detergent, usually I give my clothes to laundry services or I patronize laundry services. But because of this detergent, I'll try and wash it myself. There's nothing here that is special, but I'm looking at the heart. In fact, I taught you guys on XYZ. Before you gave me this, I relinquished area of consecration for the upcoming exam. So it's trade by barter. Anyways, you see those kind of exegesis. I hope I got that one right. Those kind of over explaining. It is clear that the opposite is usually the case. How the fuck would you say, oh, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I can buy any car I desire, and yet you don't have a car? Yet you're still forcing students to make some kind of financial contribution to submit assignments. So it's very funny that at the end of the bragging, at the end of the boastful jest, your actions truly reveal the intention of your heart. And at the end of the day, if you are truly who you say you are, you wouldn't make such demands from students. I don't want to come publicly and air my previous lecturer's laundry out in the open. But know this, even though the opposite is truly the desired outcome, or not the desired outcome, if the opposite is the case, not asserting yourself, not over explaining, would make you appear more powerful, would heighten your aura by a significant amount. Anytime you find yourself in stressful positions, don't get defensive. If there's a very interesting point, if there's something I've learned over my sojourn on earth, something that's a very something that's a huge contributor to my success, is to stop explaining myself. That's one. Number two, which is very important, if you implement this skill, females would marvel at this sudden change. Treat everything with an air of nonchalance. Number one. Number two, don't be defensive. Number three, understand you're not going to win all the time. Yeah, sometimes the joke would be at your expense. Now, how you react portrays whether you're confident or otherwise. If I look like shit today, I don't like this black shirt. Okay. As long as you know your worth, as long as you know who you are, you need not fear the opinions of others. So the first one, be willing to upset people. That's the point we just elaborated and spent the next 10, 12 minutes discussing. So that's one of the keys to effective leadership. If you found value in this video, drop a comment. Nah, I don't know how to say that. As always, my friends, it's a pleasure speaking to you. I'll see you in the next one.